St. Joseph Mission Cemetery at Jimtown Corners, not too far from Glenmont, Ohio.
And we're showing you right now the road that's right next to the cemetery and where the church used to be. And just to show you that it's kind of an old back road, really pretty country. And it's probably a good idea to park right off the road because there's a driveway right next to this, and it's not a good idea to park in someone's driveway. So it's probably a good idea to park right next to the drive.
Right.
I'm showing the plaque right now, and I'll have Michelle read it for you.
It says St. Joseph Mission. This marks the 1/2 acre site of St. Joseph Church and Cemetery. The church was built and the congregation active in the middle of the 19th century. The deed, dated February 15th, 1847, conveying the land from Peter Durand to Archbishop Purcell of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Cincinnati, noted that the church had already been constructed. The mission was closed sometime after St. Peter and Paul Church was built in 1857 in Napoleon, Post Office Black Creek, which is now Glenmont, Ohio.
So that gives you a really nice background of this church, and we're going to go over to the foundation. That's what's left of the foundation, we believe.
Yes. And this is kind of an impromptu stop, but there is a nice, extensive article done by the Diocese of Columbus about the history of St. Joseph's, and we will post that on our cemetery website so you can read all about the congregation, the mission, the property, and so forth, and the history of it.
So this shows just, sometimes you look around and you see just a bunch of rocks in a row, but not realizing that at one time it was something. And a lot of times it was a building.
Exactly.
And that's in this case. You see there's a sort of a rectangle shape with these rocks. So that kind of gives you an idea of the size of the church. And then as you walk around, you'll see small tombstones covered with lichen and moss and all kinds of stuff.
That one's not too bad. J&M. And I'm not sure what I see. Yeah, and you'll want to be very careful walking this area because there's a slope going up from the road, and it is very hilly. There's lots of sunken places, and many of the tombstones have been vandalized, so you're not going to see too many standing, and you're going to see partial tombstones in the ground that could be covered up with leaves or snow, depending on when you visit, and you want to be careful because it's definitely a tripping hazard.
Yes, for right now there are a lot of leaves, and so it's difficult to see sometimes where you're going, so you have to be real careful. Yeah. There's some tombstones that are leaning up against trees here, as you can see. There's one here, and then there's one over there. And this is, it looks like this one was still standing, and possibly they put, do you think those are stones, or do you think they're just rocks? They look like stones to me.
I think some are stones.
Yeah.
And some may be the foundation stone to hold the tombstone. Like I'm thinking the one to the left there.
Yeah.
That one looks like a tombstone.
Yeah, right there next to it, yeah.
Yeah.
And this one is all by itself standing up, and it's Josephine E., and we think maybe Louis? I don't know. It looks like wife of.
Yes, Louis.
G-A-U-M-E maybe?
Yes, Gaum. G-A-U-M.
Gaum, maybe?
Yeah. And I believe either as part of that history of the church, there's a list of parishioners and possibly people buried here. If not in that document, we know there's another document that exists that has a list, I think, of the people buried here. So again, we will try to get that posted so that you can look that up. And I'm not sure if this cemetery would even be in our cemetery index.
That's a good question. I'm not sure either, but it's amazing when I look, a lot of the tiny little cemeteries are in the index, so that's a possibility that they might be.
And this might be a good time to talk about the cemetery index.
Yes,
Yeah.
we now have a cemetery index on the cemetery site as well as our Holmes County website on the genealogy page and the local history page. So if you go to our website, which is www.holmeslibrary.org/cemeteries, you'll see to the right, it'll say cemetery index, also /genealogy or /local history, along with our Holmes County Library site. You'll see there's an index, and you just type in the last name of your ancestor, and it should tell you what cemetery they're in. Now keep in mind, we just put it up and we're working on it, so we've got lots of work to do. So keep coming back and keep trying. If you don't want to wait for the cemetery index, you can go to the township where your cemetery is, and we've got listings there also. But the cemetery index is going to be really handy for just typing in names if you don't know where your ancestors are.
Awesome. Awesome. Shout out to Bill Grassbaugh, who gave us directions on how to get here. We weren't exactly sure, but he gave very good directions, and it really is only a few miles.
Yeah, it wasn't
didn't keep
bad.
track. It's just a few minutes drive from St. Peter and Paul. So if you have ancestors in this area and just want to have a moment to, see where they once were, it's again a short drive if you're ever in the area.
And what road is this out here?
You take 520, and you will head not towards Kilbuck.
Well, we can do a Google
Yes,
map on it.
we could do a Google map on it.
Okay, you ready to go to
Yeah.
Briar Hill?
We are ready to go. This is actually, once you're on 520, you'll see a little stone called Jimtown Corners. And there's a township road that kind of heads down the hill. And we're really not that far from the Mohican River. If you were to keep traveling down this road, you would actually come next to the Mohican River. So just a little geographical information there. And yes, I'm ready to go to Briar Hill.
Okay, here we go.